eBay friends. Welcome to episode number 257 of eBay the Right Way. Today's date is February 18th, 2026, and my guest is SueAnne in Texas. Announcements. Just one quick one. I am preparing for the 5-year anniversary of this podcast and am putting together an episode with audio snippets strung together from you, the listeners, the eBay community. If you didn't see the post in the Facebook group, feel free to reach out to me by email or Facebook Messenger. You can use the audio message feature on your phone to record a snippet about an interesting sale, a fun eBay story, or something you learned from the podcast. Because this show would not exist without all of you out there. So get in touch with me if you would like to submit an audio clip. This will be a fun episode. Okay, now let's check in with SueAnne.
Hey everybody, I have a repeat offender this week, SueAnne, who is a frequent poster on the group. And how are you doing this morning?
I'm great, thank you.
Good. Well, thanks for agreeing to come on again. And we had a little bit of back and forth over the last few weeks with busy schedules and weather and company and holidays and all the things. So here we are.
Well, it's good to finally get together with you.
Yeah, and you were last on in July of 23, so 2.5 years. So you've had some time to do different things in your business, maybe evolve in different ways. So we will talk about that. And I do like to have people on again after time because everybody's business changes and
yes,
your life
absolutely.
might change and all of that. So it's something that you can just roll with and be flexible, and we'll get into all that. So do you want to do a little recap of where you are and how you got started selling on eBay?
Sure. I live in Seabrook, Texas, and it's kind of on the outskirts of Houston. And many years ago, I was a single mom to 2 teenage boys, and I was struggling financially. So when my youngest was entering high school, we went shopping. I told him, you have a budget of $100 for your back to school clothes. You can buy whatever you want, but this is what we've got. And he found a pair of jeans he wanted that were $95. And I said, if you buy those jeans, that's it. And he said, that's fine. I want the jeans. Bought the jeans, got home, went 2 weeks to school, had an amazing growth spurt. And in 2 weeks' time, those jeans didn't fit him anymore.
Oh, no.
And I was devastated because I didn't have any more money to buy in the jeans. So I was relaying this story to my sister, who has been selling on eBay at this point for many years. And she said, oh, put them on eBay. I said, who in the world is going to buy used blue jeans? And she goes, oh my gosh, there are thousands of people who will buy used blue jeans. And she said, wouldn't you have been thrilled to get those for $50 instead of $95? I said, well, yeah, and I could have bought them 2 pairs of jeans. She's like, okay, so I put them on there and I sold them for $75. And so I went to his closet and I was like, what else can we sell that doesn't fit you anymore? And, we just started selling his old clothes so that he could buy new clothes. And then I was just hooked. And I sort of ran out of things here at the house that I could sell. So then I started going to garage sales and thrift stores and things like that to try and pick up things. But that was long before you had Google Image. And that's long before you had the eBay where you could search the sold items. You were just going on your intuition. So I made a lot of mistakes and I bought things that didn't sell.
I hate the word mistake because it's just, you just learn and move on. You just become smarter.
Right. And it's helping me now. All those mistakes that I made 15 years ago, I don't make those same mistakes anymore. And I learned how to trust my intuition and how to say, just because I like it doesn't mean other people will like it. And just because I do not like it doesn't mean that other people won't pay $100 for it. So I stopped buying just what I liked and started buying things that, would have a bigger profit margin. But I recently retired and I'm traveling a lot, and that of course puts eBay business sort of, it fluctuates. You put your store on hold for 2 weeks, and it's kind of a struggle there. So I've kind of been working at investing my time in items that are going to give me a bigger profit.
Mhm.
There are the bread and butter items, but and they're great, but I don't need that anymore. I don't want that anymore. It's too much stuff in my house. It's too much to deal with. And I live in Houston. There's a lot of resellers here.
Mhm.
So it's competitive when you go to an estate sale or even Goodwill. There's everybody out there with your phone. So the only advantage I have is knowledge. And I was a pediatric speech therapist for 42 years.
Oh.
I know toys. I know good toys. I know quality toys. I know what toys are popular. And I was recently in Goodwill, and there is a Lightning McQueen Mack truck sitting there that's a Fisher Price toy that goes with their wheelie series. It's missing all the pieces, but it just has the one big piece. I happen to know that that is a very valuable piece because of my background. Every reseller in there is scanning books and they're scanning the video games, and they're all walking right past this toy. I scoop it up, I take it home. It was, I think, $4.99. I sold in less than 48 hours for $125.
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
So it's just, you have to, and I sit at home at night, like I go into Goodwill and there are Squishmallows everywhere,
Mhm.
just rows and rows of them. Well, I don't want to scan every single, look up every single Squishmallow in the store. That's time consuming. So at night when I'm watching TV or something, I'll scroll through eBay and type in Squishmallow and sold listings, completed, condition, used. Which ones are selling and what are they selling for? And really, there aren't a lot of them. There's a black bat, there's a black cat, there's one that's Warren Buffett. Those are the three that you would want to look for. Other than that, I wouldn't deal with the Squishmallow. Now, there are ones that you can buy for $1.99 and sell for $20. I don't want to do that anymore.
Mhm.
But
And you don't have to. Yeah. Yeah, that's one reason we build our business, so that at some point we can pull back a little bit and coast along on what we've done and what we've learned. Now, you didn't say what year you started selling?
okay, my son was 14. He's now 39. So what is that, 25 years?
Okay. So that's a lot of time to learn.
Yes, yes.
And
And
the
I
whole
still sell things that I'm retired now, and I have so many therapy materials that, slowly I'm purging through that. I still actually supposed to be retired, but when you love your job, you don't, I still have 3 patients who come to my home, so I still need some materials,
Mhm.
but I can certainly purge a lot. So it's kind of a mix. Every now and then I'll think, I'll just go in the office and see what toys I'm not using anymore and sell those. Or I feel like going to Goodwill, let's just see what they have.
Mhm.
So I kind of, and I have 2 different eBay accounts. One is for my personal things,
Mhm.
and one is for my resale things. It just keeps things easier for me.
Right.
Now,
Right.
one thing that's been very interesting to me, I used to love to sell plus size clothing. It didn't matter even what brand it was. If it was attractive and in good condition and it was a 2X or bigger, it would sell. And if it didn't sell on eBay, I would take it to this consignment store here after a while. Well, I took some over there about 3 months ago, and she said, I'm not taking plus size clothing anymore. It's like, why not? She goes, well, everybody's on that shot and everybody's losing weight
Oh,
and
Ozempic.
nobody is buying plus size clothing anymore. And I thought, well,
Okay.
that's interesting. And I started, paying attention to what my plus size clothing was doing, and it's not selling the way it used to at all. So I don't even look for plus size clothing anymore. Um, that was the first place I'd go at Goodwill, back there to the women's plus size clothes. And now I just walk right past it.
Well, and it is a little bit more to work with when you're photographing. It sometimes if
Yes.
you don't have a way to make it look appealing, I found that most of the mannequins are size 4 or 6. And you put the
Yes.
plus size clothing on there, it looks bad. And if you do a flat lay, it just doesn't look appealing. So I kind of got away from it for that reason, unless it's some
And then if you
super
buy,
duper.
I have a plus size mannequin, and it doesn't look good.
Right. It's hard to, and it's, it is larger and it is more to work with. So it was more time consuming to do the photography part, unless it's some super duper jackpot item that you'll make $100 on or something like that. Maybe, but I pretty much don't even look at that anymore. But gosh, that's a great observation that this Ozempic is having such an impact on the clothing market.
Yeah, I was surprised. And I looked around, I go to that consignment store to buy my own clothing sometimes, and I was looking around all the customers, and there were no plus size customers in her store. Now, it may just be her particular store and where she's located. I mean, certainly there are still plus size people out there, and they still
Oh,
need
yeah.
clothing. I think that's something that we can pay attention to.
That's a great observation. Good for you.
Well, I didn't make it. I didn't make the observation. She just gave it to me,
Oh,
and
the store owner told you that.
the store owner did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's life as a reseller. You have to zig and zag and figure out what works because it's constantly changing.
It is. And that's what makes it interesting. If it was the same all the time, it wouldn't be nearly as interesting. But things that were selling 2 years ago, like 2 years ago, Chico's clothing was selling very well. I cannot give it away anymore. And I actually joined a Chico's group on Facebook, and I'm in selling all my Chico's there for like $15 shipped. Just take it, get it out of my house, get a little of my money back. I'll be happy.
Yeah, I got real picky with that too. I just saw that market decline. And you said earlier that you shouldn't really focus on what you like, but sometimes I have the opposite result. If it's something I love, oh, that's so beautiful. Oh, it's, heavily sequined and a flattering cut and all of that. I'm like, oh, that is so beautiful. I love that. And I'll get it and I'll list it and then I'll wear it and I'll love it and then it'll sell. So I'm kind of like, maybe I should pay attention to what I like because that seems to sell sometimes.
Well, and everybody's different. I dress in solid colors. I don't buy prints. I don't buy sequins. I don't, I dress very simply. So if it's very busy, I don't like it. But that stuff sells, or at least it used to. I do still have some clothing listed, but I've gotten away from it. And it is hard to sell it because you have to measure it, you have to photograph it. And then, people are sensitive to odors and you ship it to them and they think it smells like something and you don't smell it, but they do. And, and I use fragrances in my home. I use essential oils and maybe it gets in the clothing. I don't know. So it's just I had a lot of returns.
So I was going to ask that as far as the toys and educational products, what's your return rate like on those?
0.
That's what I was going to say.
It's all my returns of clothing, every single one of them. And I understand that because you buy it and it doesn't fit, and it's, you can measure something and give them the measurements, but that doesn't mean it's going to look good on them, and that doesn't mean it's going to flow and be what they want.
No, I mean, you can only do the best you can with measurements because I find this in real life when I find something that fits well, it's comfortable, I like it. Okay, I'm gonna get 3 of these in different colors, but they're all different.
Yes.
I guess because humans are making them and they can't be exactly the same. I don't know, but it's like, why does the black one fit so well, but the pink one, I'm taking that one back. That doesn't work.
I know. That's very crazy.
Yeah. Okay, well, do you want to talk about some of your sales and sort of educate the listeners on what kinds of toys and educational products you look for?
So there is a world of people out there who are interested in homeschooling their children,
Mm-hmm.
and they really prefer Waldorf style toys or Montessori based education. And
Okay.
those kinds of toys are, and you can see it in marketing. Amazon's sometimes advertising a toy as a Montessori toy, and it'll be in the title, Montessori, and it isn't. It clearly is completely inconsistent with that style of learning, but they've learned that using that word can get people interested. So it might be a word you might want to add to some of your listings in the
Mm-hmm.
title. And a Montessori toy is an open-ended toy that has no particular purpose. So like a a kitchen set would not be a Montessori toy, even if it's made of wood, because a lot of Montessori toys are wooden. So sometimes I'll see a kitchen set advertised as Montessori because it's wood. Well, it's not open-ended, so it's really not a Montessori toy. But you maybe have seen like blocks, well-made blocks. There's a company called Grimm's that make them, Grimms. They're high quality toys. They're made in Germany, and they will last forever. They're heirloom toys. You can pass these on for a long time. And there's a company called Ostheimer, Ostheimer, that makes wooden figures. And they are highly collectible, and they are also valued in Montessori Waldorf type learning environments. Um,
So
I,
Montessori is actually it's like child led. You just whatever they're interested in,
yes.
you just let them go and they pick what they want to play with and play with it how they want to play with it. Is that right?
Yeah, they play with it how they want to play with it, but there are very, specific things about Montessori. There are specific toys that they're going to present to you. They're not going to give you Barbies. They're not going to give you Paw Patrol. They're going to give you a box of wooden shapes that are different colors and sizes. And you just do whatever you want to do with them. You can stack them, you can put them inside one another, you can design a pattern with them, you can count them, you can sort them by size or color, you can do whatever you want to do with them. The adult doesn't say, I want you to sort these by color. You just give them to the child and they do what they want to do with them.
Okay.
And my oldest son went to a Montessori program for about a year and a half. It's a wonderful style of learning for certain kinds of kids, but that's not what this podcast is about. This is about
Well, but it
selling
is an
things.
important word and people need to understand what it
Yes,
means so that they use it correctly because there is this problem on eBay where people just throw keywords on anything and they don't apply to that item. They're just trying to manipulate the search or oh, this listing looks like this item I have. I'm just going to put that word on there. And they really
right.
don't understand the nuances of what that word means. Never just copy another listing if you don't understand what the keywords are because
Yeah, that's a good
it
point.
is keyword spamming if you use it incorrectly. And you as a seller, you need to know what you're talking about.
Yes. Well, and there's also, an increase in the number of children who have been diagnosed with autism or being on the autism spectrum. And I'll see that a lot where they'll use autism in the title. There are toys that are very good for some of the kids on the spectrum. Any sensory type toy. Like for sensory, I mean that you're going to feel it has some sort of tactile component to it,
Mhm.
or like you squeeze it and something happens. Like kinetic sand is sensory, vibrating toys are sensory. So if you have toys that are sensory in nature, you could put autism in the title because parents and family members of children, of people who have children on the spectrum, are always looking for a toy that they'll like because autistic children a lot of times don't like typical toys. And it's their birthday and grandma wants to buy them something. And what would they like? Well, the mom says, well, they like sensory toys. Well, maybe they'd go to eBay and search for sensory autism or something like that. So I have good luck with that.
Well, that's a great point. So where do you find most of your items that you sell?
Goodwill, garage sales, and lately estate sales. I stayed away from estate sales because I was working and they always had the estate sale when I was at work. I mean, who can go Thursday at 10 a.m.? I couldn't. So I have started going to them. I like going. Now, Houston, like I said, is very competitive. There's a line of 50 people to get in. I recently went to one in a very affluent neighborhood, and I went on the last hour of the last day. And I really thought, it's going to be picked over, right? There's nothing going to be there. And I walked into this room, and in the corner on the floor is this incredible handmade piece of art. It was like not cross stitch or crewel or something. I don't remember what the kind of art it was, but it was gorgeous and it had no price on it. So I took it downstairs and asked the lady how much it was. She goes, "How's $30?" I said, "Sounds great." So I take it home and I Google search the image, and it turns out that it is the original piece of art is hanging in a museum somewhere, and it's this famous artist, but this is just a kit that you can buy and put together, so it's a kit. Just the kit unmade was $350 on Amazon. And this one had been completed and was gorgeous and huge. I sold it for $625.
Wow.
And I have to thank your group because I didn't know anything about it. And I put it on your group, and I said, "Can somebody help me?" No, I don't know anything about this. I don't know what to ask for it. I can't find any information on it except the Amazon ad that will sell me the uncompleted one. And I got so many quality comments and great advice, and it really helped me get the top dollar I needed or that I wanted for it. And that was my best sale ever.
Do you remember where it went?
No,
Mm-hmm.
I don't. But like when I go to Goodwill, or I go straight to the toys because that's my passion. That's what I love to sell. And then I go to the back where they have all the electronics and home goods and stuff, but I rarely find anything that works or has all the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then I'll find something, but I'm not highly interested either. And there's so many other resellers at the store when I'm there. So garage sales are the best.
Yes.
And living here, garage sales go on year round. And now that I recently bought, she had a huge box of monster trucks, toy monster trucks, and she had them all priced individually. And I said, "What if I just take the whole box? How much would the whole box be?" She said, "Well, how about $100?" I said, "Well, how about $60?" And she said, "Okay." And there were over 100 cars in there. So I paid like 53 cents per truck. And I sold them off in lots and made a lot of money. And I still have one lot left, but I've already made a lot of money on them. And I don't know anything about monster trucks, but as toys or collectibles.
Well, you're about to.
Yeah, I did learn. There was one called the Lone Star that had a Lone Star Texas flag on it. That one alone was worth $30. Just that one car. And then there was a Superman one, and some of them, but it was time consuming. Had to look up. There was over 100 cars. I had to look them all up to see which ones were valuable. But it was fun. I like doing that. I love going to Goodwill and buying a bag of stuff, this toys, and going home and researching and seeing if anything's valuable. And if it's not, I'll just put it on my local buy nothing, sell nothing group, and somebody comes and picks it up from my front porch.
I've had great success with that. They don't have those at the stores where I'm at now, but in the past, I would find those, like gallon Ziploc with all the things in it.
And it's like a treasure hunt.
Always something like buried in the middle that you can't see. One time I found a Lalique it was a dragon. It was a glass dragon. It was red. It was only about 3 inches long. And that was all buried in the middle. And I think that sold for about $80. And then
Wow.
another time, it was this beautiful set of measuring spoons. I think they were porcelain, but they
Oh,
were
wow.
painted with flowers. And I don't even remember the brand, but I was like, oh, this looks cool. Like I wouldn't use something like that in my kitchen because it was so fragile. It seemed like it was just for decoration. Like you wouldn't really bang those around in your kitchen when you're cooking. But those sold for, I don't know, maybe 40 or $50. And there's always some little treasure in the middle that, because I always try to like move the bag around. What's in here?
Yeah.
What's going on here? Oh my gosh, should I splurge and pay the $3 for this? But you're right. It's like a little treasure hunt. And sometimes you can lot the things together. If there's maybe a bunch of Lego minifigs or something there, it's the same type of item that you can create a lot of. But that is fun. I love doing that when I can find them.
You just reminded me of something my husband and I've been doing. A long time ago, I do speech therapy and I was doing home health and I was in the home of a woman who's a stay-at-home mom with 3 children. Her youngest had Down syndrome and I was there working with her. And she had just moved into this amazing house, beautiful home. And she goes, "Do you want to know how we could afford this house?" And I said, "Sure. Tell me your finances."
Yeah. What's your secret?
It's like, let's not cross any professional boundaries here. I'm here as a speech therapist. But she said that her husband and her had been buying Lego sets, holding on to them for 10 years, and then selling them. And it had given her enough money for the down payment on this house. I thought
Oh,
that's crazy.
wow.
It is absolutely crazy. So I went home and told my husband, he's like, it's worth a try. Let's just go on, buy some Legos. So we went on there and bought and went to lego.com, paid retail price for large sets, like $100, $150, $200 sets. Put them in a closet. They've been there for 15 years. We started selling them at Christmas. And, a set that we paid $150 for however many years ago, we sold for $400. We have a Death Star, a Lego Death Star that we paid $275 for, and it's worth $1,000 right now, but he's not ready to sell it yet. He's like, I think we should hold on to that. So that's been fun. But you do have to hold on to them until they retire.
Mhm.
And I think what happens is there's a 13-year-old kid out there who wanted the Lego Death Star for Christmas and didn't get it because it was, expensive. And he's now 45 and he's an accountant or an attorney and he has all the money in the world. And he says, you know what? I'm going to buy myself that Death Star. And he goes on eBay and he finds it.
Mhm.
And he's willing to pay it because he wanted it when he was a kid. That's just my guess. I have no idea.
Well, it could be collectors too that just same reason they collect these items and wait for them to appreciate, and maybe one day they'll sell them and maybe not. It's hard to know
Well, it's
without asking.
fascinating. We haven't lost any money on any Lego set. They're always worth at least what we paid for them.
Hmm.
So it's a pretty low risk investment. And now that I have grandsons and my oldest grandson is very interested in Legos, I figure, hey, if they don't sell, we'll just give them to him
Hmm.
down the line. So and it's fun to get online with my husband. I guess 4 years ago, we bought one that it's a wind turbine. It has a battery and it really turns and it's huge, absolutely huge. We bought it, we built it, we enjoyed it, we put it away, and they retired it. And we're going to sell it probably next summer, or this coming summer because there's a lot of reasons we can't sell it right now. But if you enjoy building them, you can still buy them, build them, and hang on to them, and still sell them for more than you paid for them.
Hmm. Absolutely. And I've had limited Lego experience, but my son had a few that were Christmas gifts, and he's the kind of kid that he'll just build it in one day and he's done, you know. And it was the medieval stuff that was so
Oh,
popular,
that's cool stuff. Yeah.
maybe, I don't know, 20 years ago. It was a while back. So he had all these things put together in his closet, and Then when he got old enough to drive, there they come out. Mom, can you sell this for me? I see it's worth whatever. And absolutely, yeah, sold the older set that they don't make anymore. I think it went along with that online game RuneScape that was medieval and castles and jousting and all that stuff. It was very popular at the time. So yeah, sold it, and he used the money for gas money and that kind of thing that teenagers do. But I don't seek out Lego. It's very overwhelming to me to figure it out. But I know even the booklets will sell.
Yes. Yes. I recently bought a box of Legos at a garage sale, and it had the instructions and probably all of the pieces, a lot of the pieces for sure. But I don't want to put it together because it's very difficult and not my wheelhouse. It's a Star Wars something or other, and I'm not interested in Star Wars at all. And I've been thinking about having my grandson put it together as here, you put this together, because like your son, he enjoys putting them together, and then that's the end of it.
Yeah,
He can
move
put it
on to the
together,
next one, right?
and then I'll sell it and give him some of the money for putting it together, because I don't want to do it. But
And the
some
pieces can
people,
be so tiny. Just
yes,
as you get older, and maybe your hands just they're older. They don't do all those little movements and vision and all the things. It's just, you kind of need a kid with nimble hands and fresh eyes to do those things. I'm not going to sit there with a magnifying glass and try to do it.
no, it's not fun for
But
me.
some of those minifigs go for crazy, like $300 a piece for certain ones.
I know. It's nuts. And if you can educate yourself on Legos and you have a way to find them, I mean, people here in Houston, when they're being sold on Facebook Marketplace or something like that, they know the value. They're not giving them away. It's hard to find them used. At least I rarely run across them. I was very surprised to see this at the garage sale, and they're just in a box, and it was clearly one of those Star Wars sets that sold for a lot of money. It's some sort of spaceship, and it has all the minifigures and everything in there. I mean, I'm sure it's valuable. And she sold it to me for $10. She just, she didn't know what she had, and she didn't care. She just wanted it gone. That reminded me of something. I have found that Facebook Marketplace can be a good place to source, which is surprising to me. But I've been able to find several quality toys on there and flip them, Montessori type toys. And I'm also in a Facebook group of Montessori mothers in this area. And oftentimes they will, have toys they want to get rid of, and I'll buy them and put them on eBay and make a profit.
I mean, there's a Facebook group for everything. I might have to check out that Chico's one. I've got a few pieces that are just lingering. And they're fun. They're interesting pieces. It's just they don't ever show up in my send offer, and they're just not getting views. And I guess that's just a thing of the past where those items would sell for pretty good money and quickly. It doesn't happen anymore for me.
Yeah, eBay is my, first choice to list something. If it doesn't sell there, I'll try and find another way to sell it. There's also a Johnny Was group on Facebook.
Yes.
And that I do sell a lot of my Johnny Was things there, just because, I don't have to pay any fees to them. And eBay, charges me, a pretty significant fee. So sometimes in terms of reselling, you might make more profit if you go another route. But obviously eBay has so many more people. But this Johnny Was group on Facebook, these are people who are dedicated to buying Johnny Was clothing. And what I found is that people who buy on Facebook Marketplace and Facebook groups are not going to eBay. They are not people. My children have never purchased an item off eBay in their lives. If they
Really?
want something off eBay, they call me and say, would you buy this for me? That's just
Okay.
not something they do. And their friends don't. But they buy on Facebook Marketplace. So sometimes if you have an item that's really desirable and it's not selling on eBay, you don't necessarily have to lower your price. Just try and find a different platform
Mm-hmm.
to sell it, because there's a whole group of buyers out there who are not on eBay.
Right. And I wonder what the reason is. I'm sure there's a lot, but maybe they had one bad experience and they're like, I'm not doing that ever again. Or they just would rather do it local,
Well, it's
I
not on their
guess.
radar. My sons are busy people. They buy on Amazon because it's easy, and they don't go to eBay and compare the price like I would do. They just, oh, I need this. It's on Amazon. It'll be here tomorrow. Boom. They just buy it there.
Well, and people often say when they find out I'm a reseller or what do you sell, and I tell them some different things, and they'll be like, you can buy that on eBay? People sell that on eBay? Like they don't even consider it as a source for what they're looking for. Maybe it's a health food product or health and beauty or something like that, or a used part for an old blender or whatever it is. It just doesn't, like you said, it's just not on their radar to even look on eBay.
Yeah, and I think eBay's done a pretty good job of advertising. I hear ads on the radio, frequently
Mhm.
about the kinds of products you can get on eBay. But my kids are probably not listening to the radio. They're on Spotify. So,
Well, it could be
yeah,
that generation too. Let's see. Melanie is she's right between millennial and Gen Z, and then my son is Gen Z. So their go-tos are very different. So Melanie will buy things on Poshmark or, like you said, Amazon. My son is like all Amazon. He doesn't look at anything else. It's just he's like a cut and dry kind of person. Just here's what I need. I'm going to get it. Okay. And I just think maybe it's a generational thing because you and I have been doing eBay for 25 years ish. And it's just our go to for stuff.
well, plus I'm looking for a bargain.
Mm-hmm.
My children don't care if it's a bargain. They want convenience
Mm-hmm.
and speed.
Mm-hmm.
And if they have to
Right.
pay a little more for it, so be it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you've got Poshmark and what's that other one? Depop and Mercari and all these other sites that are nowhere near as big as eBay, but they do have loyal customers that look there first.
Yeah. And I don't ever go there. So I'm opposite of that.
Right.
And
Me too. I've never bought anything on Poshmark. I just
I,
don't, that's not my world.
no,
Yeah.
but I do go to ThreadUp sometimes. And
Okay.
actually I have bought items on ThreadUp and flipped them on eBay.
Okay.
Because ThreadUp has sometimes I don't know do you know how that works?
Don't you send in a box of stuff and they pay you for
Yes.
it and then they list it on their site?
Yes. So you just send them your stuff, and uh when it sells, you only get money if it sells, and they just pay you pennies on the dollar. I mean, you don't get much at all. But if you have a lot of clothing that you want to just get rid of, like I do send them all the stuff that I'm no longer interested in trying to sell any other way. And I currently have a balance there of $293. So it does add up. You're not going to get like I got one recently, I got $2.11 off of something they sold, but I don't care. I just want it gone, and a little bit of money's better than nothing. But they don't advertise usually the brand. They just take a picture and they'll say white linen jacket. Well, it happens to be, a J. Jill jacket and in a plus size or something, and it's, a navy color and it's gorgeous. And that you can get it for $3.75 or something but you don't know it's J. Jill they don't tell you that. So you just kind of have to look at the pictures. And I mean, you and I have been doing this for a long time, so we can recognize quality clothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought several things there and flipped them. I bought a Sundance catalog maxi dress on there for myself, actually. Wore it once and decided, I could probably just sell this for more than I paid for it, and I really don't need it. And so I ended up doing that. Congratulations on your sale of the horse
Century,
ribbons.
I know.
That was incredible.
Yeah, I was a little bit scared.
That's fantastic.
I've sold, well, with that sale of 25 lots, I've sold 150 lots since last March.
Oh my
So
goodness.
there's usually 10 in a lot. So that's 1,500 ribbons.
How much do you pay for a ribbon?
It depends on the year. I'll pay a little bit more if they're 1960s and 1950s, but generally $1. That's my max. So when I'm bidding on online auctions, I got to factor in the shipping, and sometimes I'll get them for 30 cents a piece because nobody bids on them. What I love are the giant piles where you can zoom in and you can kind of see the year. The issue on the 1950s and 60s ribbons is they're made differently, and 70s. They're bigger, they're heavier. The rosettes are different. They're not just the standard looking rosette. They might have points on them or multiple colors or really long streamers. They're different. So yeah, about $1 a piece. And then I batch them up in lots of 10. And my asking price is $39.97 plus shipping. And I'll go for a couple of weeks with no sales, and then somebody wants 5 batches or 10 batches. But this was the biggest request I'd ever had. 25 batches.
That's great.
Yeah, so I kind of cleaned out my inventory, but I don't mind because I've got 400 more coming as soon as our snow melts and mail is normal again. Yeah, who knew? And I've never even been on a horse in my life. And
I love that.
Here I am and it's just fascinating because they're from different parts of the country, different competitions. Some of them don't exist anymore. Some of them say the city, like Aurora, New York, or Buffalo, or whatever it is. And people just make crafts out of them.
That's crazy.
So who knew I would land in that niche? But it's fun, and I just enjoy it. So that's why I do it.
That's great, though. I mean, it is a very niche kind of thing, but there's probably nobody else on eBay doing it. So good for you.
Well, now there are, because they're copying my listings.
Oh,
They're setting them up exactly the same way I do it in the pictures and the wording. That's okay. There's plenty of opportunity for everybody. And I've had summer camps buy them for craft day, and equestrian camps that buy them, and all kinds of different people. So the trick is getting them.
yeah.
You can know about something, but you got to figure out how to get it. So
Yeah, we all know that Lego minifigs sell, but where are you going to find them?
right. Yeah. You just has to be on your radar all the time. So you said that cross stitch or art framed thing was your highest sale ever?
Yes, definitely. Yes. It was very exciting. And it was beautiful. I actually thought about keeping it, but again, I don't need it. And I have a 1,600 square foot house, and I've lived here for 35 years. So, it has everything it needs. We don't need more artwork. And
Right.
$600 will go a long way to buy an airline ticket to go somewhere.
Well, I was just going to ask, when you're traveling, do you look for treasures?
Sometimes my husband is not really into this.
Mhm.
He would like for me to stop doing it.
Oh no.
Yeah, but that's not happening.
You're gonna have to agree to disagree on that.
Yes, because I to me, it's my hobby. And I enjoy it, and it's fun. And now that I'm retired, it's not taking over any part of the house. It's all stored away in a place that's not bothering him. So, but when we go traveling, every now and then he'll agree to stop somewhere. But if I'm traveling by myself, yes. I just recently went to San Antonio, which is a 4-hour drive from here, and stopped at 2 Goodwills on the way there. Did not find anything to resell, but I found something I needed for myself, which was great. Piece of exercise equipment that I really will use. I have one already, and the quality of this one's much better than mine. So I'm going to use this one. I paid a whopping $5 for it. I don't know if this is going on at all Goodwills now or not, but Goodwills now has a loyalty program. Is your Goodwill?
I have
do you go
not
to Goodwill?
encountered that, but usually in the South, we're the last place to get stuff like that. It takes a while to make its way over
Once
to
you
us.
spend $50 at Goodwill, then they give you a $5 coupon that you can use on anything. So this thing was $5, and I had a $5 coupon, so it's free.
Okay.
And now I'm going to turn around and sell my old one. And I'll probably, sell that on Facebook Marketplace for $10 or $15. And the reason I wouldn't sell it on eBay is just too big to mail. So that's one thing I have gotten away from. When I'm shopping, I ask myself, how are you going to ship this? Where before I didn't ask myself that. And that's one of the reasons my husband makes the boxes for me when I need a big box. So one of the things I agreed to was I just wouldn't buy anything anymore that was going to require him to make a box. I used to not care because, they're going to pay for the shipping. So I don't care how expensive it is to ship. But I just sold a rustic metal phoenix something or other. It's a big piece of wall art. I sold it for $100. He had to make a box for it, and he was complaining. I said, but I bought this 3 years ago before you and I had this agreement that you wouldn't make any more boxes.
Right.
But it is very disappointing when you go somewhere and you find something amazing and you want to buy it to flip it, and then you realize that it's going to be really cumbersome to ship this, and there's a risk that it might break and all the stuff you're going to have to do. And I factor in how much time it's going to take me and how much material I'm going to have to buy to protect the item. And is it really worth it if I can go over here and buy this small thing, or even 2 of these small things, and make the same amount of profit? And I'm fortunate that I've gotten that place, and this is a hobby for me. This is not a business. So I'm free to walk away from things like that now. And I don't need the money. Whereas when I first started, I needed every dime. I mean, my God, those boys could eat. Gee. And I needed every dime I could get my hands on, but now I don't need that anymore. So
yeah, I feel you on the teenage boys outgrowing things so quickly. I was in the heavy eBaying then, and so my son's first job, now he's 6'2", he's a big guy, and his first job when he was 18 was working at Panda Express, and he was there for 3 years when he was in college, and he made his way up to, he did the back of the house and ordering the food and cooking and opening all the things. But the great part of that was he was allowed to eat twice on his shift. And that saved me so much money. And then I'd be like, what's the off? Can you bring me some egg rolls or whatever? And and he had a really nice boss, and he ate his fill. But, to wash his clothes and his jeans and stuff, you can only fit a few things in the washer because he's so tall and they're so big and heavy. So, and then he would just outgrow shoes like crazy in high school.
That's nuts.
And I did the opposite of you. I would sell his shoes because they don't get worn out when they're 12 to 16. They don't wear long enough. Their feet are burning so fast. So we'd buy good shoes, and then I knew as soon as he couldn't wear them anymore, they were going right on eBay. And he would even say, "These still fit. Don't sell them while I'm at school." It's a big joke. Like, you got to hide it from mom because she'll sell it when you're not looking. I mean, yeah, but that's putting food on the table and paying the electric bill. So get over it.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah, I feel you on that. Well, it sounds like you've made an easy transition into retirement and just doing some things for you. Do you consider you're 100% retired? Well, except for the, I guess, tutoring and home health you're doing.
Yeah. So I just see 3 children who are all on the spectrum come to my home for therapy, and there's just a shortage of people who do what I do. And when I retired, they couldn't find anybody to take my place, and these families are in need, and I have, this skill set, and if they want to come to my house and they'll do that, I'm happy to keep working with their children. It's fun.
Does insurance pay for that therapy?
No, they pay me out of pocket.
That's tough. Yeah. Okay. Well, job security for you though. If you wanted to ramp that up, but seems like you have
No,
a
I
good
do
balance.
not. I absolutely do not. And in fact, I was just seeing 2 of them, and one of them gave my phone number without my permission to another family, and they called. And in the process of the phone call, I realized that the father of this child was my youngest son's friend in high school. How can
Oh,
you say no?
right.
And I was like, I can't say no now. But I really do not. I mean, I enjoy it, but I want to be retired.
Mm-hmm.
And we travel a lot. We live in Michigan 4 months out of the year. When it gets hot here,
Mm-hmm.
we go to Michigan and
Okay.
we live there for four months. So, and that is fun because in Michigan, we live near Ann Arbor, but everything is very spread out there. So people put things on Facebook Marketplace and nobody buys it because you have to drive what they consider to be far. I'm from Houston. A 20-minute drive is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But these people will not drive 20 minutes to pick up this amazing thing. So I do a lot of sourcing there. I can't sell this on eBay, but I bought a Montessori Waldorf. I don't know what they're called. It's this big wooden thing that you put canopies on and children play under. It's called a play stand. They cost hundreds of dollars, and they're very sturdy. They never wear out. I bought it for $100, and I brought it home to Texas and sold it for $350
Okay.
locally because you couldn't mail it. But I love sourcing in Michigan. It's fun.
Good for you. Well, and the thing about the mileage, when I was in Greenville, South Carolina, and first moved there, and I would be talking to people there, and I'm like, well, yeah, I'm going to this place, and where is that? I'm like, oh, it's over here. It's only 6 miles. They're like, that's really far, 6 miles. I'm thinking, I'm from Atlanta. Like, you can't get anywhere in less than half an hour. And
Exactly.
it was just kind of funny to me that their perception of far away was nothing to me.
I know. That's fine with me. Like in Houston, you can get in your car and drive for 45 minutes and you're still in Houston. So,
Yeah, that's Atlanta. Like, to the airport, which was 25 miles, it's 2 hours
yes,
with the
yes,
traffic and all
exactly.
that. And I just thought, I like a smaller town after having lived there most of my life. It's just nothing. 10 miles is nothing, especially if there's no traffic.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I
Well, good
love
for you.
that. And I've done a lot of good sourcing.
And you
Um,
can also get good blueberries up there in Michigan in the summer.
oh yes, good blueberries, good strawberries, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Strawberries.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I sold some horse ribbons one time with, what's the city with the cherries? I kept seeing this logo of cherries on these ribbons. And I'm thinking, what's with the cherries in Michigan? I learned a lot about geography doing these horse
I
ribbons.
bet
Like,
you
where is
do.
this city and what is it known for? Because all the logos and artwork on the ribbons are about Traverse City, I think is
Yes, Traverse
okay.
City.
The horse competitions are all about what that town or that city is about. So it's kind of an interesting geography. Like, where is that? And I'd look it up. Okay. And luckily I remember it sometimes. So, well, anyway, what are you going to be doing this afternoon?
I'm actually going to go to my storage unit and pull some things out to list.
Okay, gold star for you.
And I'm in the mood.
So just
That's a
make
nice thing
sure
too.
they're small so your husband doesn't have to make a box.
Yes, absolutely. We can't inconvenience him.
Well, you gotta pick your battles.
Yeah, well, I was able to convince, as we're having this conversation, we're going to Costa Rica in April, and all of the money that is being used to pay for that trip has been made from reselling, every penny.
Congratulations, that's wonderful.
Thank you. And I have to say, maybe to the people who are listening, I'm a very goal-driven person, and it was very motivating for me. I said, I want to go to Costa Rica. I think we can do it for $5,000. So I am on a tyrant to run through the house, run through the storage unit, run through the garage, find anything you're not using, list it. Let's see if we can get $5,000. And between all the platforms that I sell on, I made $5,000 in 4 months.
Congratulations.
So it's like, and when he complained about the boxes, I'm like, it's a small price to pay to go to Costa Rica for a week. And he started laughing. He's like, yeah, that's a good point. But for me, now that I'm retired and I don't need this money for my ongoing living expenses, I do find motivation by picking a goal. Last year, my goal was to buy a pontoon boat, which I did. I bought a pontoon boat from
Wonderful.
reselling stuff, and now we're going to Costa Rica on resale. And my next thing is I want to upgrade the motor on my pontoon boat. That will be my next thing that I'll be working for. And I have, we go to Michigan in May, so I have what, 3 months, 4 months to make the money for a motor. So
And
that's why I'm going
you'll do
to.
it. Mhm.
Yes, I know. I'm going to go to that storage unit and I'm going to pull any little thing that, we have all of our Christmas in there, and so we keep the storage unit regardless, but I'm going to pull anything out I think I can sell.
Well, I won't hold you any longer. You can go and shop in your storage unit and
Thank you.
get your items going so you can achieve that next goal. But the key word of retired is tired, and you do not seem tired.
No. It's very, very fun, and I'm very lucky to be where I am. But eBay's been a big part of it because I've always had enough money to pay my bills from my job, but anything extra had to come from some other source.
Right.
So, my children went to debate camps. They went to, we went on a cruise together as a family. All of those things, anything extra has been paid for by eBay. And I'm enormously grateful to the platform for providing that for me. And I hear people complain sometimes about their fees and this and that and the other thing, but you know, the fees are getting really high. It's very, because they take the fee on the sales tax. They take, you sell something for $600, that's a pretty significant sales tax. And then, the ship it that for that piece that I sold, it is frustrating, but where else are you going to get this kind of income? So it's the price of doing business. And I think eBay's done a real good job of advertising for us. I see them a lot. And I'm happy with the platform. It's my go-to for anything first, like I said. So
Well, good for you. This was a great conversation. I'm glad we caught up after almost 3 years because your business has changed and your sourcing has changed, and that's the way it is. It's going to evolve. So you are a living example of what can be done. So I'm proud of you.
I'm so happy for you and with your success too. That's incredible.
Well, thank you. And we will look for you on the Facebook group with some more of your sales.
All right. Thanks, Suzanne.
Thank you. Good to see you again.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
In case you missed it, my sale that SueAnne referred to was to a customer in Greece who is an artist. that was making a project, and she wanted 25 lots of horse ribbons, so 250 ribbons total. We agreed on a price of $760 plus shipping. Since it was international, it was shipped through eBay's service, so if any issues arise, I am covered. My profit on that sale was $657, my second highest sale ever. A very exciting sale for sure. This reinforces the concepts of delayed gratification, and slow and steady wins the race. So keep going. Your efforts will add up, and that ka-ching could only be a few minutes away. Next week, my guest is Angela, who has been posting a lot on the group lately and is finding success with eBay. We had a great time chatting, and you will enjoy hearing about her business. That wraps up episode number 257, and I hope you have an outstanding week on eBay. Talk to you next week. Bye, everybody.